Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you an easy strumming version of Blackbird by the Beatles.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn.
So you can see it's still pretty chordy. You know, Blackbird has quite a few chords in it, but we are simplifying the strumming a lot, and we're also simplifying the chords a lot. Instead of playing all those unique shapes, we're sticking to some basic chord shapes for the most part. We open up with a G chord, and we just strum it once. Then we go to A minor 7. We're going to leave our pinky down and make an A minor chord. And then we go back to our G shape, but I'm not putting down my middle finger, and I'm putting my index a little bit higher than usual so it mutes the thickest string. That's G/B, or G over B. So we open up G, A minor, G over B, and then I'm going to leave my ring finger down and slide it up here until my ring finger is on the 8th fret, and these two fingers, I'm making a D shape. So you see these two fingers are on the 7th fret. This is literally a D shape, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets higher. And my thumb mutes the thickest string. Optional, but it helps. And we go. So that is down, up, up, down. And notice how I'm missing a bunch of strokes, but I'm keeping my arm going the whole time. That's really, really important. Down, up, down, up, up, down, down, miss, miss, up, down. And we do that a couple times. Then we go on to the next part, which starts with a C chord.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly.
So we have C. Then I'm going to pivot off my middle finger into an A7 chord. Then I move those two fingers down to the thinnest and the G string, and I add my index to make D7. Then I take this entire shape and I move it up 2 times to make B7. So this part flows really well. You know, once you make the C chord, you can rely on that, pivoting off your middle, moving it down, adding a finger, and then moving the whole thing up to follow those 4 shapes. And then we make an E minor chord, pretty straightforward. We use that same pattern. Then we take off our ring finger. This makes E minor 7. And then from there we go D7, A7, and C. And the strumming for that, all your, just one strum each on D7 and A7. We get to the C chord, life. We use that pattern again, and then we drag our C chord up 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And we want to lean our hand a little bit to mute the thinnest string. You know, normally, like, good habit when you're playing chords is to have beautiful arched fingers, but in this case we want to kind of let them sag a tiny little bit. That way we mute the thinnest string. And we do our pattern on G over B, A7, D, and G. And then we pretty much repeat that part with a C chord before it. Let's just recap everything that we've done so far, nice and slow. I'm going to use a metronome here just so we can keep a super steady pace. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum, 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 pattern. Strum, 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 pattern. Strum, strum, pattern. pattern, pattern, pattern. It's just pattern from here on out. And this is quite the challenge because there's so many chords that just switch like that. But we are taking out the element of the finger picking. So I think this is a really good stepping stone into being able to play something like, you know. You'll notice it's pretty chordy. You know, there's a lot of just like switch, switch, switch. Whereas the finger picking version of Blackbird, it's a lot easier because your finger picking, you don't have to worry about all those other strings. You know, that's one of the things when you're strumming a song. Like if you tried to use the shapes that you would use in the finger picking version, like if I did the same thing, you know, it sounds weird, right? We have to take into account all those strings that we're not pressing, because when you strum, you have no choice, right? Either way, moving forward, the next section of the song is the chorus. This one's a little bit simpler. Fly. We start with easy F. That's where we put our first finger on the first fret of the second string, the B string. Middle finger on the second fret of the next one. Then our pinky on the third fret of the D string, and our ring finger just above it. We have our thumb lightly touching the thickest string, and we do one strum each. F, pivoting off of our middle and, off of our index and ring finger into our C chord. And then our D minor chord, for that, we can leave down our index and middle and just take them down there and plug the hole, make a D minor shape. Then we reverse that, bring those fingers back up and play C. And then for this B flat chord, I'm going to put my index finger on the first fret of the A string. I'm going to put my ring finger an octave higher, which is 2 frets higher and 2 strings higher. So it ends up on the 3rd fret of the G string. And that's the octave shape. Very useful to know, regardless of whether you're playing this song or not. Then I'm going to put my pinky underneath my ring finger. And with this shape, it's going to teach you how to mute excess strings. Like if I leave my index down, it's muting everything except for the note that it's pressing. And then we do our pattern with this. And back to C. And then we do that all again. Blackbird fly. And from here, into the light of the dark black night. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There is one other section, but it kind of just recycles what we already know. It's the musical interlude. It goes, and we do this 4 times instead of 2 times. And then we go, so that's totally stuff we've already done. That last little bit, we're just kind of ascending and descending. We go G, A minor, G over B, just like we start out with. Then we play C, and then G over B, A7, D7, just like the end of the verse. And that's all there is to it. I have a hard time saying that with a straight face because I know that there's quite a lot going on here. You know, somebody requested, this is by request, by the way, somebody requested a strumming version of Blackbird, and it was like months ago. I've been trying to make the simplest version of this song that's strummable, and this is as easy as it gets. There's still a lot of stuff in here, but I really wanted to include a lot of like leave this finger down and that kind of thing, right? So really make a point of following those specific instructions and leaving those fingers down, because ultimately, if you learn how to do something like this, you're gonna become like a master of the basic chord shapes. You know, it's gonna impart a ton of dexterity onto you. I really do think this is a valuable learning tool. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made this lesson to begin with, and I would have said, hey, why don't you just learn the regular fingerpicking version of Blackbird? You know, there's definitely some merit to doing it this way. I just want to make sure that you don't feel discouraged. You know, don't think that this is like the easy way to do it compared to the fingerpicking version. It's a totally different way to do it that, you know, has its own strengths and weaknesses like anything. If you want to play along with me a little bit slower than the recording, using this exact arrangement of the tune, I have that on my Patreon page where we play the tune start to finish. I'll put a link to that down below. Also down below, you'll find a bunch of helpful links like my free ebook, my complete beginner's course. I have a whole bunch of stuff. I'll put links in the corner and down below. It's all designed to help you learn guitar better. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy learning guitar with me. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.